The Civic Type R build begins now. It's time to install our stainless steel catback exhaust for better sound and a better appearance. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Throttle. Today we've got some exciting content for you. We are going to be actually starting the mods on our 2020 Honda Civic Type R. That's going to be a sweepstakes vehicle. One of you guys will be eligible to win this thing, hopefully.
Heck yeah.
So we've got our exhaust system. This is from MBRP. So this kit is going to supply us with bigger diameter tubing for the exhaust system. The exhaust system on this car actually looks like it's kind of oval almost.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting.
Crushed.
This is going to be a round setup. We do have some beautiful tips that are going to go on the end. Chrome inserts with carbon or dry carbon surrounds, which is really cool. That's a nice touch. And those will be visible here. The one other thing I really like about this kit are these brackets. Look at these things. So this is a center exit exhaust and it mounts down the middle. So you got to have these wide brackets. These bolt on, they have laser etched their logo out of them, stainless steel. What more could you ask for?
One thing I'm noticing too is that they have some noise canceling technology built into this too. So getting rid of that drone as well.
A Heimholtz tube.
Yeah. Heimholtz
tube. And this is something we're seeing a lot of the newer exhaust systems come with. Pretty much across the board.
It's kind of a must.
A few of the recent Trust or Gretty exhausts we've installed have had this. Yeah. MagnaFlow's had it. MBRP also has it. So it must be good technology. It must work if they're all adopting this. So I'm really looking forward to hearing what this sounds like once it's installed. Before we get started, we want to remind you guys that our Black Friday sales are now live through the end of the month. And tomorrow, our Cyber Monday sales actually start. So if you guys are looking for an exhaust for your own car, Will, are you in for an exhaust or what?
I'm in for an exhaust. But not only exhaust, we also have wheels, we have interior bits, we have carbon fiber touches for your car. We have merch, which you can see some of the fresh new merch that we're wearing today. There's a whole bunch of things you can get to enter to win this Civic, as well as get your own car going for right now.
Yeah, one thing I want to say is we also not only offer aftermarket products, we also have oil filters, belt tensioners, general maintenance stuff. So if you guys want to get entered to win this car, but you don't really want to mod your car, you just need to do some general maintenance stuff, you can order your oil change equipment or supplies for that directly through throtlv.com and get entered to win that way. So there's many ways that you can get this done. I really want to see one of you guys driving this thing. So hop on the site, check out our Black Friday deals, and take advantage of it. Now let's get started on this Civic Type R. Okay, well, this is the first chance that we've actually had to get a proper look underneath the CTR. Of course, we poked our heads under it before we bought it, but we never walked under it. So this is our first time to do that. Will's gonna start getting the under trays off because we do have to break the exhaust loose up at the engine, up at the manifold. In order to do so, according to the instructions, we need to remove these panels. So he's gonna do that. Meanwhile, I'm gonna take a look under here and see what we find. Overall, this is a pretty clean car, and we already knew because of the way that it was cared for in the interior that it was fairly looked after. And I like how Honda actually made this sort of a flat panel car now. The only cutout you have under here is for the exhaust system. One thing I found interesting was this, where the pipe actually kind of swedges down to this weird oval shape here. It goes from round to oval and into this really interesting piece that splits off into three mufflers, 3 tips, and what's weird is they are actually all connected. I don't really know how this works. I've never really looked into it. I'm sure a lot of it is controlled through the computer or ECM or ECU and opening and closing valves at some point somewhere, but I don't see any. So kind of a convoluted setup. The MBRP system also has 3 tips, but it only has 1 muffler. So we're gonna get rid of some weight here, I'm sure. And that's why those brackets that I showed you guys in the intro are so long, because they have to reach out to the sides to mount that muffler that's basically just here in the center. So. I really would like to understand what this does. Maybe somebody can let us know in the comment section, like 1 exhaust all the way back, splits to 3 through 3 different mufflers and 3 different tips. that are all joined back together after the fact. All right, the rear pipe is out, and they've got like an over pipe, I think is what Subaru calls it on their engines. So basically this comes down off the manifold, and there's a catalytic converter above it that it bolts to. And then we pop off this mount here. It goes up and over the subframe, and that should come out. Hopefully it comes out easier than it looks like it's gonna be. And we should mention this is a 50 state legal catback exhaust system, so we won't have any problems with that here in California. As the most stringent state, this is a legal exhaust system. Man, this is actually really easy. They do provide instructions, which we were just kind of loosely referencing.
Yeah, this mechanical drawing that's right here, all your pieces as they're laid out, that's really nice.
That means we can pretty much tighten back to here and then tighten these up by hand once we get the tipsies on. All right, the MBRP exhaust is essentially bolted on underneath the car. It's a really nice kit. Everything went together really easily. And one thing I like about their rear bracket system, it seemed kind of cumbersome at first because it's a bunch of separate brackets. And I was kind of wondering why they didn't just water jet or laser cut the brackets and weld them on. The reason is because you have those 3 exhaust tips, you want to get them aligned nice and easily. Instead of adjusting at the pivots of the pipe as you put it together, we're going to put the tips on, get it lined up where we want it, then we'll tighten down the brackets. It's basically allowing us to shift it this way and a little bit even this way, and we just have the bolts finger tight at the moment. Once we get the tips where we want them, we'll tighten everything down by hand, and we should be able to align this thing perfectly. One thing I wanted to do with this is the way this is made, it's like a clamp system, and they have 3 or 4 slots cut in the tube, and then you put a hose clamp on. That allows the tube to crimp down on the tube that's inside of it. But if you can see here inside, they put a little circular hole at the very beginning of the cut. What I want to do is leave that circular hole just a little bit exposed. That way when the exhaust vapor turns to water and it sits in here, it doesn't just sit and puddle. It actually has a place for it to drip out. So it's not visible. It's not visible enough to worry about. And I think overall for the life of this exhaust system, it'll actually help get some of that water that would sit in here normally to evacuate out the bottom.
All right, I got all those tightened up, so now I'm gonna see if when I drop this support right here at this joint, that these kind of stay. There's just a little bit of a gap that Mickey has right here. A little bit of play with his squeegee for running vinyls. So, did I move it all?
Yeah, a little bit, not really though.
All right, well, from the header all the way back, we have installed the entire MBRP exhaust system. It's tightened up, but before we button up all of these panels and get everything completely closed up, I'm gonna just kind of pull these up, we'll lower the car down, get a first start, make sure things aren't rattling or hitting on the chassis or anything that's gonna cause noise. Once we're ensured that that's the case, that it's a nice smooth run, then we'll button everything up completely. All right, I have this thing halfway buttoned up. It's down to the ground. We're gonna have our first start, listen to it, see how it sounds, and then make sure there's no rattle.
That is a very healthy sized center exhaust tip, my good friend.
It's funny because the stock one had 2 big ones on the outside and a small one in the center. And
yeah.
Flipped it around. It's a little more aesthetic.
It doesn't look out of place.
Hey, you gonna start it or what?
You gotta give me a little.
Ooh.
Hey, okay.
Definitely deeper for sure.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Yeah.
It sounds elegant.
It does sound very smooth. It's not like crazy volume.
It sounds like it sounds like it should sound like this from the factories, which is really good.
Small displacement engines like never sound like this, and they never sound this deep. The newer ones they do.
Calm down there, Speed Racer.
That's all it'll allow them to rev it, so. It limits the RPM, which is okay.
Alright, redlining
I will
that.
tell you, it's definitely way deeper
It is
tone
deeper.
and actually audible. The other car, other exhaust, you can barely hear it.
you can barely hear it, yeah.
The fact that we can actually hear this is.
It popped, dude.
Well, there's a little bit more noticeable exhaust note while sitting in the cab. That's an improvement, because that's what you want to hear is a nice deep exhaust. I didn't hear any rattles. You guys didn't hear any rattles?
No.
Cool. So I'm gonna get this back up, fully button up the bottom, and then we'll take it on the road, put it under some load, and really hear how it sounds on the drive blast. Just finished throwing the install on this. So now, ooh, I'm already hearing better exhaust notes. So now we're gonna hear how it sounds when it's, you know, got some load on it. We're shifting from second to third and downshifting a little bit, just kind of hearing how it barks back at us. And right now I'm already happy with the improvement of the sound quality back there. I hear more back there than I do up front, and that's how I like it. So I can see through the rear view, and obviously you guys can see on camera, there's a whole bunch of white smoke. That's anti-corrosion chemicals that are coated on this exhaust, and it's just burning them off. It doesn't smell like oil or anything that's going wrong with the car. It's just a new exhaust. We're getting rid of a lot of the chemicals they coat in order to keep this from corroding in shipping or in storage. All right guys, that is gonna do it for today's episode. We threw an awesome MBRP exhaust on this. Finally gave it a little bit better of an exhaust note. I'm super excited that the exhaust is one of the first things we did on this, because that puts a smile on my face, hearing a nice sounding car like this, drive down the road, and especially sitting in the driver's seat of a nice car like this with a good exhaust note. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys like the sound. Also guys, don't forget that right now our Black Friday deals are live, and on Monday we're gonna have our Cyber Monday deals as well. So get yourself an exhaust system, get yourself wheels, tires, brakes, whatever you got going on for your car, or just a simple maintenance to keep your car running smoothly, or you can buy some of the awesome merch that is now on our site live. As always, like, comment, subscribe, share the video, and we'll see you next time for the wheels, tires, and suspension.